Hey everybody, it's Steve from Corporate Gone Country. I'm just an ex-corporate guy trying to do country things. And today the country thing we're doing, me and my capable son, is we're trying to replace the headlight assembly on the passenger side on his 2021 Dodge Ram 1500 Rebel. Now we don't represent ourselves as experts here at Corporate Gone Country, but we do try stuff. And so we're trying this today because we think we can save about $1,000 from having the dealership do it. So let's get started. All right, my son bought this headlight assembly from carparts.com. It was $570. Comes well packaged, and there's the back of it right there. So there's the damage to the headlight right there. We want to replace this whole assembly, and we know in order to do that, we need to take this top cover off right here. There's a bar underneath it that comes out as well. We need to loosen the grill, at least down there in that corner right here. And we also have a bolt or two that we have to take out right here. And we've got to make access with taking up some of these fender flare screws as well. So we're going to do this ourselves. We always run into a problem or two. We'll show you all that. So if you try this, maybe it'll help you overcome the challenges as well. So we got these push pins here. I don't know, there's 7 or 8 of them. There's a little slot that you can put your tool into and lift the push pin up, and then you just pull it out and grab it out. And so we'll keep them all in one place. But we have, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them to get out. Okay, we have all those push pins out. Now this cover should just lift off. And we just put it out of the way. So red Solo cups are not only for drinking whiskey and water, but they're also for keeping your nuts and bolts in. So taking that plastic cover, exposed a few more push pins. I think there's about 4 of them, and some 10mm screws. So we'll take those out, and that'll help us get this bar off on both sides. And we found the push pin on the end here was slightly different, but we'll have to remember that when it goes back in, but I don't think it's a big deal. All right, now we took out all the 10mm screws, and you can see there's a hole here, a hole here, a hole here. There's about 10 or 11 of them across this thing. So now we're gonna pop it off. Just slide it right off. Now we can just lift up on those 4 things and 4 attachments here. And that'll free up the top part of the grill, and we'll go down to the bottom and see if we can't free that up as well. So in order to get to the bottom part of the grill right here, we think we need to remove this fascia plate right there. And then in order to remove that fascia plate, we got to come over here and need to remove a 10mm bolt in here. But in order to get to that, we've got to remove these fender flare screws to provide access. I think we need to take out 5 of these screws. They're 8mm, so we'll go with that. So now what that allows us to do is pull some of that away and get in behind there to find that 10mm screw. This fender flare kind of perplexed us for a moment, but you can see the kind of pin that's holding it there. And what we did is we pulled kind of up and out on it to free it from those 2 clips right there. So we now have the fascia board separated from the fender flare. And now I know it's tough to see, but we probably pointed to the wrong place. Our 10mm bolts up here, not down here. So we're going to be trying to get that separated so we can get this fascia board off from the quarter panel. That short 10mm socket up under there. I can't show it to you, obviously, but it's difficult to get that socket on there, but looks like we've got it on there. Okay, so there's a 10mm bolt. It was oriented just like that. And how far was that? About how far back it was right there?
Yeah,
okay.
About.
All right. And we ended up using this contraption on the driver to get it out. Yeah, I recognize you might not have one of those, but just mess with it with a regular socket, and hopefully you'll spend a little bit of time and just get it out.
Out, right?
Now we pull, understand we pull this out.
Out, not up?
Yeah, pull it towards you. It looks like you would push it down, but apparently you pull it out. All right, we got the fascia plate unhooked, and the way we did it is we started basically, well, from this end right here with a screwdriver and a rag, and we just started working it to where we were pushing down on the screwdriver and then getting it in here and creating where we could separate it. So it's out now, but it took a little doing, but now we'll work it out on the other end. Okay, so we did manage to get this whole fascia plate off, and the way we did it, these two clips were kind of holding it on back here. They were hard to get to. We just peeled this back and pushed that with the screwdriver and separated them. So we didn't put any up and down pressure on it. It was just forward and backwards, axial pressure, I guess is what you call it. And it ended up coming out. Okay, so we have 3 bolts here we need to take out. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, and then we have 1 up here, 4.
I think it's just going to take some finagling with the positioning of the grill to be able to take this off. And we need to remove the harness. Okay, harness is removed. So on the harness too, very easy, clip, push down on it, pull out.
So you had to reach behind that to get it. And you got some water in the headlight.
That's why this thing is broken.
Got some
new headlight.
Got some packaging on there, but we can take that off when we finish the installation.
Good news is it's the right side to drive the car headlight.
Yeah, looks like you ordered the right one.
And we need to plug in the harness once we get it secured. All right. So this had to go. Just to get behind there.
Behind there, okay. Now you got those holes lined up.
Now the holes are lined up.
Okay.
To go ahead and then connect the wiring harness so we can do a test.
Yep. So we're gonna hook up the harness and test it out. And we got a light. At least there's a turn signal. But what about the headlamp? That looks like a cornering light. There we go. All right, we're reasonably satisfied that it works. It was a little bit hard to tell out here in the broad daylight, but yeah, we're good. So we're gonna button this back up. Short screw goes right there. That's what, 8 or 10? 10?
That was 10.
All right. And then we've got the 3 bolts up here, or the 3 screws that we need to put in right there. Now it matters what screw goes in what hole. The long screw goes right here. Oh, they're the equal size. Okay, but that short screw goes to the left, and this long screw in that hole, and then the other long screw in the middle hole.
Line up these things with these two guys.
Yeah, we had quite a difficulty getting this off, and hopefully putting it back on will be better. There's a couple of slots that those two end clips go into. Hopefully they'll just pop right in, and they do. That was a heck of a lot easier to put on than it was to take off. So this was difficult to get out, but so we just we just pushed it back in, and it's nicely in place.
I'm gonna feel where the 10mm bolt goes in right here. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in and hand tighten it. Make sure that it's in its groove. And then the same contraption that we used to get it out, make sure to get it in, and a little finagling, a little tough love. There you have it.
Awesome.
Easy.
Okay, so a lesson learned is to put this back the way you found it, and so my son's going to explain how it goes.
So obviously the fender, you're going to see that first.
Or the flare.
No, sorry, yeah, the flare, the fender flare first, and then you'll have the body, and then the cover right here is behind the lip of that body, so that when you reattach your screws, it'll bring the body, oh, I'm sorry, it'll bring the cover closer to the body.
Okay.
For these 8mm, good to get the 90-degree tool, and they just go from the cover onto the body. So there's a space between these clips right here that slides in right to a notch on that flare. You can pop that in, and then
you can just stick it in the hole. So you got like three or four of these to do. Well, lesson learned is we're going to take some of that cover back off down underneath the wheel well, because we couldn't get these larger clips out the way we got these smaller clips down here. So we're going to try that.
Put this clip out like so.
Okay, so that clip came out. We'll put it back in the, we'll put all
similar
four,
style.
Yeah. We'll put all four of these in the fender flare and then just pop it back in.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start from the back, and we're going to put that, clip it in, keep it on the outside. We've already done that one right there. And then we'll put these ones on the end, clip them in.
These are a little bit easier to get out. Put that in.
And then just shove it all back in there.
That's a little clip, 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 clip.
Done. So we're pretty much buttoned back up here. We've got the wheel well back together. We've got the fender flare back on. We have the fascia piece on right there. We've got the headlight assembly in. We've got the grill back to where it's tied down. Now we need to put this piece back on, and also that radiator cover over there. So in order to put this piece back on, you just need to know that there's some pins right here that go in certain holes. You can start with the ones on the center, this one and this one. So if I just try to do this with one hand, I put that in the center, I slide those pins in. There's some more pins like right here. That's going in. Doing all this with one hand. And you got some pins that go in on the end as well. So that slides in under there like that. Got one over here. So I'm gonna put the camera down and get that in with two hands so I got it in the right place, and then I'll bolt it down. So I just hand tighten the bolts or the screws that go back into the holes, just to make sure I wasn't going to strip anything. Got all of them in there, and I'll just go back with the 10mm impact. The last thing I have to do is just put this radiator cover on with the push pins. It'll just slide right in place, and I'll snap those pins in there, clean up my tools, and we'll be done. To put these pins back in, you just separate the top and the bottom, and you put the bottom in and just shove it in there, then take the top, line it up with a hole, push it in, and it locks. And we're all back together here. So our job is done. Feels pretty good. With this cloud cover, it's a little bit easier to see the light. And there she goes. Thank you for watching today's episode of Corporate Gone Country. If you like what you see here, please like and subscribe. Today's job is done. We really appreciate your viewership and hope to see you on a future video. Bye now.